All right, my name is Hiram Shelton, and this is my video discussing money laundering cases. And so for the first question, what do I think about the top 5 money laundering cases of the last 30 years involving sanctions against financial institutions and not traditional criminal actors? Well, at first glance, I think it's kind of surprising because you'd expect it to be like cartels or like some mafia group, right? But then thinking about it, I think it makes sense actually, because these financial institutions, right, most often banks, they're kind of the gateway to allowing money laundering, and so it's if they aren't doing their job, if they aren't upkeeping the regulations and following anti-money laundering laws, then they are allowing a lot of crime to happen. And so they're kind of, it is extremely important to keep them accountable for this job because they are important to keep out crime from the country. So is this appropriate or necessary? I would say yes to both. Again, I think I just answered that, but when they fail to enforce their compliance to the regulations, so like if they're not following the Bank Secrecy Act or just anti-money laundering regulations, then we kind of suffer as a nation because they're allowing a lot of money laundering to happen. So I think it absolutely makes sense that they are being held so accountable. But the problem, I think, is that it's kind of a tough line. A lot of times when these institutions fail to comply with the regulations, they kind of just get a slap on the wrist in a way because they just pay a lot of money, which they have. And no one sees a prison sentence, right? Whereas if it was a cartel that got caught or something, people would be in prison. And so it's kind of tough though, because it's like, just because you're an executive doesn't really mean you should go to prison just because of negligence on account of your employees, right? So I think it really would need to come down to if there's clear evidence of and how bad the negligence is and how bad the crime is, and I think if there's very serious evidence of an executive, then I think there should be a more serious consequence for some actions, especially when it does come down to just knowingly going against the regulations. So impact on banks and the compliance programs. I would say it's really forced banks to kind of buckle down and get more strict on things. So it's increased the how do I say this? The scrutiny on large transactions. Basically, it forces banks to be much more on it and reporting things, a lot more strict reporting requirements for all the banks, and definitely stronger compliance departments. Some banks even start hiring officers to be watching how well their employees are complying with the regulations to ensure that they don't get any fines or get in legal trouble. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'm excited to see your videos.